I teach people that you don't work for anybody, you work for yourself. And when it comes to your career, it's never about a job. There is no such thing as a job.
No.
There isn't, because we sell our time so that we live and fulfill our lives.
Yes.
And then when you get a job, careers are made out of steps. So if you get onto one job, where is that taking you on? And then how is that going to lead? So when you pre-plan a lot of your career path, or somewhat, you actually become much more successful.
The reason I have my phone with me is that I wanted to say two things. Thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing. But then I wanted to add something else. Thank you for taking the time to help me meet the amazing women I was looking for. Natalia is one of them. And she comes from you, because I don't know you. We should have met ages ago.
Absolutely.
And before I get into the sheer, I could feel your energy. You're effervescent. You're like Eno. I could feel it the minute I went on to Messenger to find you, and you were like, "What? You? Yes, find me. What?" I was like, "Okay, breathe." So please introduce yourself.
Thank you so much, first of all. I'm so excited to be here, and especially to meet you.
Thank you.
My full name actually is Natalia Zahra Polishchuk Mohammed, and I didn't choose any of them, but I do embrace every single one.
Okay.
Yes.
There's a little Italian in there, a little Somali. What is going on?
I know, it's very confusing. I find that when I tell people that I'm a Somali, they take a little deep breath.
Yes.
And I get the same reaction when I tell people I'm a Russian. They get the same reaction.
I could tell from the Natalia. Yes.
Exactly. So my mother is Russian, my father is Somali, and I was very fortunate really at the start of my life in that I went to a Russian school, a Somalian school, an Italian school, all the way to an English school, and then I learned a little bit of Spanish and now kidogo Kiswahili. So I think the richness of the languages, the culture and the travel, I feel genuinely blessed as a human being, which has really now given me the tools to understand people, and that makes me good at my job. Because
which is,
yes.
What does Natalia do? When you introduce yourself at cocktails, what do you say? Hi, I'm Natalia, and
Hi, I'm Natalia, I'm a headhunter, and I sell people.
Oh, okay. So let me tell you how some of you described Natalia on Facebook. You said, Caroline, Natalia, that's where I got you because she tagged you, is a wonderful young lady who quit her job and started changing the way all of us perceive recruitment. She's giving a new lease of life to many men and women on how to better place ourselves in the professional arena and break the glass ceiling we need to. Her workshops are beyond inspiring because she also gives you the tools for you to reach your best potential. You should definitely have her on your couch. I don't have a couch. I have very executive wing chairs. So she's on my wing chair. Explain, you quit your job?
I did. I mean, it did take quite a bit of planning, so I didn't just jump quit. It took me a little bit of planning, but about 2.5 years ago, I literally packed 4 suitcases, and I came to Kenya to follow my dream, and I'm so happy to actually be. I did quite a lot of research in selecting Kenya as a country. It really stood out above and beyond in the whole of East Africa when I researched every company, and really I'm here to empower Africans, to make sure that the world knows that this is the youth of the world, and this is where the future lies in Africa.
We are the youngest continent.
We are.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So literally the human resource and that human capital for the future is here.
Absolutely.
But there's something you told me, and I want us to get into this conversation, that the way that we even put out our resumes is destined for failure. Explain.
Absolutely. You know, most people come to me and they ask me to look at their resume, to look at their CV. I'm not a big fan of the CV because it doesn't really work. I find that most job seekers are really not strategic enough. Most of their job searching is basically using one analog CV, and all they do is click apply. They look at and click apply. And that's not really a strategic way, first of all. what is important for people to understand is that when you click and apply, 500 other people have applied.
This is true.
Absolutely. And what happens is it's never a human being that reads it. It's only computers. These are called application tracking tools. They're not really that clever, but what they do is they scour and read the CV to find a particular keyword. And the trick is, the more you repeat a keyword throughout your profile, the higher the chances of you being picked up. So if I'm looking for project management, the person who has the keyword project management repeated a higher number of times in their profile will appear at the top of a search immediately.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
But to qualify what you've just said, I'm so happy I am not 26 years old. Because right now you're looking at your CV like, So you send it to, for example, Brighter Monday, but it's the AI that's actually looking through.
Exactly.
And the AI is looking through keywords because the client has specified this is what we're looking for. Absolutely. Meanwhile, what words are actually on my resume?
Softer, I have great interpersonal skills. I am driven. I am passionate. I want to change the world. So the system would never look for the word driven or passionate.
Or change the world.
Or change the world for that matter. Absolutely.
Yes.
So I genuinely believe that finding a job needs to take a bit more thinking, a bit more planning. You need to be intentional, strategic and purposeful about it. And when you do that, it actually is very, very easy to find a job.
You actually told me it can take a month.
A month to 2 months, depending on the complexity and where you are looking.
Of course.
Absolutely. Most of our clients that attend our workshop, within 6 to 12 weeks, they are already fully onboarded.
And into a space they actually fit into and like.
Above their dreams. They usually gain a minimum of 30% salary increase, because the way I teach people is I teach people that you don't work for anybody, you work for yourself. And when it comes to your career, it's never about a job. There is no such thing as a job.
No.
There isn't, because we sell our time so that we live and fulfill our lives.
Yes.
And then when you get a job, careers are made out of steps. So if you get onto one job, where is that taking you on? And then how is that going to lead? So when you pre-plan a lot of your career path, or somewhat, you actually become much more successful. And the key thing that I want the youth of Kenya right now to take on board is to realize that the fourth industrial revolution is completely to their advantage.
It is, and it's here. It's not coming, it's here.
Exactly. There will be hundreds of jobs in the next 5 years that will completely disappear, and there will be brand new jobs. So, for example, we are all familiar with big data.
Can I just thank you for nominating her to come here, because I could never have had this conversation without you. You know, one of the things I tell a lot of my friends is the thing that keeps me up at night is that I have an 8-year-old daughter. So I think in 10 years, what will the workspace look like? Today, what I do that earns me money is not something that existed 5 years ago.
Exactly.
Some of the people that organizations are looking for, those jobs didn't exist 5 years ago.
Exactly.
What will the next 5 to 10 years look like? And you're right. 5 years from today, there are jobs right now that pay top dollar that will not exist.
Absolutely. It is quite scary for some individuals.
And for others, they're like, let's go, because I need that blue ocean.
It gives opportunities to many. And I think even the people who are currently in a role right now, all they need to do is start looking around. What's happening in my industry? 65% of children born today will do jobs that don't even exist. Today.
Yes.
That don't even exist.
Find this woman, get her to talk at your events, please, please. Because if I say it, you'll tell me I'm crazy. Every time somebody talks about our current education system, I'm like, you're interrogating the wrong thing. Interrogate what world they will graduate into, and whether actually the degree today will matter. And I find myself sometimes talking to myself, so I just keep quiet. But then there is the Russian chick. She'll tell you in her sexy accent, it is true.
Completely. We cannot completely wipe out education, because it does have a purpose, but it does not prepare us. It does not.
Must change.
It completely has to change, because Look, regardless of what the education system is, we live in one of the fastest moving periods. You can access Udemy. You can access, even for free, YouTube. There is so many skills that you can learn. I always use this example to say that the lawyers, that once Facebook was opened in 2004, a year after Facebook was opened, realized that your photograph will now need to be protected and started to specialize in data privacy, or the jobs that they got within 2 or 3 years were at the top of the industry.
Of course. Yes. Of course.
So planning, you can plan so much ahead. We can look in Kenya, M-Pesa, the fintech industry is closing down the banking retail industry. We can see that.
Yes.
Corporate lawyers and commercial lawyers will be replaced by artificial intelligence.
AI.
And because of the fourth industrial revolution...
You don't want to hear it, but it's true.
Exactly. So the fourth industrial revolution means we have new business models. So we have Uber, the biggest taxi company in the world that doesn't even own a single taxi. So, and I think right now Kenya is one of the most exciting countries in the whole of Africa. They've jumped 2 economic scales to the 6th fastest growing economy right now in Africa. Apart from Africa being a youthful, Kenya has a huge, almost 87% mobile penetration.
Yes.
They are some of the most educated, entrepreneurial self-starters. And they are also, when I said they are very ambitious, the youth they are very entrepreneurial. They just go ahead and set things up. And they are the ones that will drive the whole economy forward.
Yes. So when we come back, you're going to tell me about Just Work. However, for Natalia, you spent your career doing what? Before you quit, packed 4 suitcases and came to Kenya. We are not worthy. Yes.
Well, it's a good thing I like talking, because in the last 15 years, I have spent interviewing under 18,000 people. I have hired and placed more than 1,000 people, and I've done this across 70 countries. So when it comes to really understanding both what businesses actually need and what are the right fit candidate for that particular client, this is where I consider myself an expert.
Yeah, you can go get a drink of water and come back, and then she'll tell you about Just Work. Yeah, breathe. You recommended her to me, and I told you all I'm doing is featuring amazing women. Ladies and gentlemen, Natalia. Subscribe, come back.